Dearest students, once again I am here with a beautiful composition, with a beautiful poem, The Road Not Taken, composed by the famous American poet Robert Frost. This poem highlights the dilemma faced while making choices between available options. The poet advises the readers to choose carefully because once a choice has been made, then we cannot revert back our decision. If I talk about the summary, so what happened exactly? One morning, the poet was standing in a wood. It was autumn season. He reached a point where his path split into two roads. Now he had to make a choice between the two. He stood undecided for a long time. Finally, he took the road on which a few people had traveled. He thought that he would travel upon the first path some other day. Though he knew well that it would not be possible for him to come back once again. He felt that his choice had made all the difference in his life. He knew that he had chosen a more challenging path. He thinks that if he had taken the other road, his life would have been different. So, basically, what is the message that is carried here by the poet Robert Frost? Here the message is that the poet wants to convey that choices and decisions, those things should be made carefully because they have serious implications on our future life. He also says that one should not hesitate to make bold and wise decisions in life. Students, here we will talk about the poetic devices and the rhyming scheme of the poem too. When you go through the poem, you will see that the rhyming scheme is AB, AA and B. These rhymes are called end rhymes. Perfect rhymes are lay and way, and slant rhymes are both and undergrowth. If you talk about the poetic devices, then you will see first poetic device that is used here is personification. Personification, what do you mean by personification here? Here some examples are there. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Here the poet is not talking about the road. Fork in the woods. Instead, he is using the concept of a diverging road to relate to making decisions in life. Next, we will talk about metaphor. So in this poem, the poet uses the fork in the road as a metaphor for the choices we make in life. If you observe the poem carefully, you will see some repetitions are also there, like edges and edges. It is clearly exemplified here. Somewhere edges and edges hence. So here this edges word is repeated. Now a video will be shown to you for your better comprehension, and I do hope you will understand the basic ideas like introduction, theme and message put inside it. So enjoy it right now.
The American poet Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, California in 1874. His first poem was published in The Independent when he was only 20 years old. For many years after that, he worked as a farmer and a teacher and struggled to get his work published. Later, he moved to England with his family. His first set of poems was published in England. Frost returned to America a few years later and became a celebrated poet. He went on to win 4 Pulitzer Prizes. He was invited by President Kennedy to read a poem at Kennedy's inauguration. Robert Frost was inspired by life in rural America. Most of his poems are about nature or ordinary people and their everyday situations. What's interesting about the poem, The Road Not Taken, is that Frost does not merely write about the road taken, but also highlights the road that was not taken. In other words, the choices we make or do not make often shape our destiny. Let's take a closer look at the poem The Road Not Taken and see what it's about. One autumn morning, the speaker walks through the woods. He comes across a fork in the road. He stands for a long time, wondering which of the two roads he should take. He feels sorry that he cannot walk down both of them at once. He peers down one road to see where it goes, but he can only see up to the first bend as plants and foliage block his view. He then decides to take the other road, which is grassy. Initially, he thinks the road he has chosen has not been walked upon, but later he concludes it is as worn as the other road. He dwells that both roads are equally covered with leaves. On that morning, the leaves have not been crushed under people's steps. The speaker tells himself that he will come back and take the other road sometime in the future. Yet, deep down he knows that the road he has chosen will lead him to other ways, which will take him far from where he has started. It is unlikely that he will ever come back and take the other road. The speaker thinks that someday in the future, he will look back at his decision with a sigh. He will then claim that he has chosen the road less traveled, and this choice has changed his life. The poem uses certain literary elements to enhance its form and content. The road in the poem functions as a metaphor. It is a metaphor for the choices that one must make in the course of his or her life. The poet uses phrases such as yellow wood, undergrowth, grassy, and layin leaves to create an image of a forest in autumn. Alliteration is often used to enhance the musical quality of a poem. The phrase wanted where is an example of alliteration from this poem. Here it adds to the lyrical tone that Frost has used throughout the poem. So, Frost's poem deals with the choices that one makes in life. It also deals with the regret one feels of choosing one choice over the other. Let us now examine the rhyme scheme of the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. The rhyming words in the stanza are would, stood, could, both, undergrowth. To find the rhyme scheme, we have to label each set of rhyming words. So if would is A, both will be B. The rhyming words for would are stood and could, so they will be labeled A as well. The rhyming word for both is undergrowth, so it will be labeled B. Therefore, our rhyme scheme for this stanza is ABAAB. All stanzas in this poem follow the rhyme scheme ABAAB.